Top 25 AC Maintenance Interview Questions and Answers. If you are preparing for an AC maintenance interview, you need to show more than basic technical knowledge. Employers want someone who can inspect systems properly, diagnose problems accurately, follow safety procedures, communicate clearly with customers, and prevent small issues from becoming costly breakdowns. AC maintenance work often involves refrigerant handling, electrical checks, filter cleaning, airflow testing, thermostat troubleshooting, and routine servicing. In this guide, you will find 25 common AC maintenance interview questions with sample answers. These answers are written to help you sound confident, practical, safety-focused, and ready for real HVAC service work. Tell me about yourself and your experience in AC maintenance. I have experience in AC maintenance tasks such as cleaning filters, checking refrigerant levels, inspecting coils, testing thermostats, checking airflow, and identifying common cooling problems. I understand that proper maintenance is important because it improves cooling performance, reduces energy use, and prevents major breakdowns. I am comfortable using basic HVAC tools, following safety procedures, and explaining problems clearly to customers or supervisors. I consider myself reliable, detail-oriented, and practical. My goal is always to complete maintenance work carefully, find issues early, and make sure the AC system runs safely and efficiently. 2. What are the main duties of an AC maintenance technician? The main duties of an AC maintenance technician include inspecting AC units, cleaning or replacing air filters, checking evaporator and condenser coils, testing thermostats, checking electrical connections, inspecting drain lines, checking refrigerant pressure, and making sure the system is cooling properly. A technician also looks for unusual noises, leaks, poor airflow, and signs of wear. Another important duty is explaining the condition of the system to the customer or supervisor. Good maintenance is not just about fixing problems. It is about preventing breakdowns, improving performance, and keeping the system safe and efficient. 3. Why is regular AC maintenance important? Regular AC maintenance is important because it helps the system work efficiently, reduces electricity consumption, improves cooling performance, and increases the life of the unit. Without maintenance, dust can block filters and coils, refrigerant issues can go unnoticed, drain lines can clog, and electrical parts can become loose or unsafe. These problems can lead to poor cooling, water leakage, high bills, or complete system failure. I believe preventative maintenance is always better than emergency repair. A well-maintained AC unit gives better comfort, fewer breakdowns, and lower long-term repair costs for the customer. 4. How do you inspect an AC system during routine maintenance? During routine maintenance, I start with a visual inspection of the indoor and outdoor units. I check the air filters, coils, drain line, thermostat, electrical connections, fan motor, blower, and condenser unit. I also listen for abnormal sounds and check for water leakage or weak airflow. If required, I check refrigerant pressure and temperature difference between supply and return air. I make sure the unit is clean, safe, and operating properly. I also record any issues I find and inform the customer or supervisor before recommending repairs or replacement parts. 5. What safety precautions do you follow while maintaining an AC unit? Safety is very important in AC maintenance. Before starting work, I switch off the power supply and use proper personal protective equipment such as gloves and safety glasses. I avoid touching live electrical parts and always check wiring carefully. When working with refrigerant, I follow proper handling procedures and avoid direct contact because it can cause injury. I also use ladders safely when working at height and keep the work area clean to prevent accidents. My approach is to never rush a job. Safe work protects the technician, the customer, and the equipment. 6. How do you handle an AC that is not cooling properly? If an AC is not cooling properly, I follow a step-by-step diagnosis. First, I check the thermostat settings and make sure the unit is set to cooling mode. Then I inspect the air filter because a dirty filter can restrict airflow. I check the indoor and outdoor coils, condenser fan, refrigerant level, and airflow from the vents. I also look for blocked vents, frozen coils, or compressor problems. I do not guess the cause immediately. I test each possible issue carefully so I can identify the real problem and recommend the correct solution. 7. What causes an AC filter to become dirty, and how often should it be cleaned or replaced? An AC filter becomes dirty because it collects dust, pollen, pet hair, and other particles from the air. The cleaning or replacement schedule depends on usage, environment, and filter type. In a dusty area or in a place where the AC runs daily, the filter may need cleaning every few weeks. In normal use, it may be checked monthly and cleaned or replaced as needed. A dirty filter reduces airflow, puts pressure on the blower motor, lowers cooling performance, and increases energy bills. That is why filter maintenance is one of the most important tasks. 8. How do you clean AC coils? To clean AC coils, I first turn off the power supply for safety. Then I inspect the evaporator and condenser coils for dust, dirt, or debris. For light dirt, I use a soft brush or approved coil cleaner. For the outdoor condenser coil, I carefully remove debris around the unit and clean the coil without damaging the fins. I avoid using too much pressure because it can bend the fins. Clean coils help heat transfer properly, which improves cooling and efficiency. After cleaning, I check that the unit operates smoothly and airflow is normal. 9. What are the signs of low refrigerant in an AC system? Common signs of low refrigerant include poor cooling, longer cooling cycles, ice forming on the evaporator coil or refrigerant lines, hissing sounds, and higher electricity bills. The air coming from the vents may feel warmer than normal. However, low refrigerant usually means there may be a leak because refrigerant does not normally get used up like fuel. In that situation, I would not simply add refrigerant without checking the cause. I would inspect for leaks, check system pressure, and follow proper procedures to fix the issue safely and correctly. 10. How do you deal with water leakage from an AC unit? If an AC unit is leaking water, I first check the drain line because a clogged condensate drain is a common cause. I also inspect the drain pan for cracks or overflow. Then I check whether the evaporator coil is frozen because melting ice can cause water leakage. A dirty air filter or low refrigerant may cause freezing. I also make sure the indoor unit is installed with proper leveling. After finding the cause, I clean the drain line, fix the blockage, or report any damaged parts. My goal is to stop the leakage and prevent it from returning. 11. What causes an AC evaporator coil to freeze? An evaporator coil can freeze due to restricted airflow, a dirty air filter, blocked return air, dirty coils, low refrigerant, or a faulty blower motor. When airflow is too low, the coil temperature can drop below freezing and moisture turns into ice. Low refrigerant can also reduce pressure and cause freezing. If I see a frozen coil, I do not just remove the ice and restart the system, I look for the root cause. I check airflow, filters, coils, blower operation, and refrigerant conditions so the problem does not happen again. 12. How do you check if a thermostat is working properly? To check a thermostat, I first confirm the settings, mode, temperature, and fan position. Then I compare the room temperature with the thermostat reading. I check whether the AC starts and stops correctly when the temperature setting is changed. If it is a digital thermostat, I check the batteries if applicable. I also inspect wiring connections if needed. A faulty thermostat can make the AC run continuously, fail to start, or cool unevenly. I always make sure the thermostat is communicating correctly with the system before assuming there is a major AC fault. 13. What electrical components do you inspect during AC maintenance? During AC maintenance, I inspect electrical components such as wiring, capacitors, contactors, relays, circuit breakers, terminals, and connections. I look for loose wires, burnt marks, corrosion, overheating, or damaged insulation. I also check that the fan motor and compressor are starting properly. Electrical issues can cause system failure or create safety risks, so they must be handled carefully. I always turn off the power before inspecting electrical parts, unless testing requires live readings, and even then I follow proper safety procedures. Good electrical inspection helps prevent breakdowns and protects the equipment. 14. What is the function of a capacitor in an AC unit? A capacitor helps start and run motors in the AC system, such as the compressor motor and fan motor. It stores electrical energy and gives the motor the boost it needs to start properly. If a capacitor is weak or faulty, the AC may struggle to start, make humming sounds, trip the breaker, or the fan may not spin. During maintenance, I check for signs such as swelling, leaking, or burnt terminals. If testing confirms the capacitor is faulty, I recommend replacement because a bad capacitor can damage other parts if ignored. 15. How do you identify a faulty compressor? A faulty compressor may show signs such as no cooling, loud noises, overheating, tripping breakers, hard starting, or the outdoor unit running without proper cooling. I would check power supply, capacitor condition, contactor operation, refrigerant pressure, and compressor current draw before confirming compressor failure. Sometimes the issue may be electrical rather than the compressor itself. I believe in proper diagnosis because compressors are expensive components. If the compressor is truly faulty, I would explain the findings clearly and recommend repair or replacement based on the unit's age, condition, and cost. 16. What causes poor airflow from AC vents? Poor airflow can be caused by a dirty air filter, blocked vents, dirty evaporator coil, weak blower motor, damaged ductwork, closed dampers, or incorrect fan settings. I would start by checking the simplest causes first, such as the filter and vent openings. Then I would inspect the blower, coil, and duct system if needed. Poor airflow reduces cooling comfort and can also cause the evaporator coil to freeze. My approach is to find whether the restriction is at the filter, unit, duct, or vent level so the correct fix can be made. 17. How do you handle customer complaints about AC performance? When handling customer complaints, I listen carefully and ask clear questions about the issue, such as when it started, whether cooling is weak, if there is noise, water leakage, or high electricity usage. Then I inspect the system professionally and explain what I find in simple language. I avoid blaming the customer or making assumptions before checking the unit. If repair is needed, I explain the reason and possible solution. Good communication is important because customers want honesty and confidence. My goal is to solve the problem and maintain trust. 18. What tools do you commonly use in AC maintenance? Common tools used in AC maintenance include screwdrivers, wrenches, pliers, multimeter, manifold gauge set, thermometer, vacuum pump, refrigerant scale, coil cleaning brush, pressure washer or sprayer, leak detector, and safety equipment. I also use cleaning materials for filters, coils, and drain lines. A multimeter is important for electrical checks, while gauges are used for refrigerant pressure testing. I believe tools must be used correctly and maintained properly. Having the right tool helps complete the job safely, accurately, and professionally without damaging the equipment. 19. How do you maintain the outdoor condenser unit? To maintain the outdoor condenser unit, I first turn off the power and inspect the unit for dirt, leaves, debris, or blocked airflow. I clean around the unit and make sure there is enough clearance for proper ventilation. I inspect the condenser coil, fan blade, motor, electrical connections, and refrigerant lines. If the coil is dirty, I clean it carefully without damaging the fins. I also check for unusual noise or vibration. A clean and properly maintained condenser helps remove heat efficiently, improves cooling, and reduces stress on the compressor. 20. What would you do if an AC unit is making unusual noise? If an AC unit is making unusual noise, I first identify where the noise is coming from. Indoor unit, outdoor unit, blower, fan, compressor, or ductwork. Different sounds can mean different problems. A rattling sound may be loose parts, a grinding sound may indicate motor bearing issues, and a hissing sound may suggest refrigerant leakage. I inspect the unit carefully and avoid running it for too long if the noise seems serious. After identifying the cause, I tighten loose parts, clean the unit, or recommend repair or replacement. 21. How do you improve AC energy efficiency during maintenance? To improve AC energy efficiency, I clean or replace dirty filters, clean coils, check refrigerant levels, inspect airflow, test thermostat operation, check duct leaks, and make sure the outdoor unit has proper clearance. I also check electrical components because weak parts can cause the system to work harder. I may advise customers to keep doors and windows closed, use proper temperature settings, and schedule regular maintenance. A system that is clean and correctly charged cools faster and uses less energy. Good maintenance directly reduces running costs and improves performance. 22. What is preventative maintenance in AC systems? Preventative maintenance means regularly inspecting, cleaning, testing, and servicing the AC system before a major problem happens. It includes filter cleaning, coil cleaning, drain line clearing, refrigerant checks, electrical inspection, thermostat testing, and checking airflow. The purpose is to prevent breakdowns, improve efficiency, extend equipment life, and keep the system safe. Preventive maintenance is important because many AC problems start small and become expensive if ignored. I see preventive maintenance as a professional responsibility because it helps customers avoid discomfort, emergency repairs, and unnecessary replacement costs. 23. How do you handle refrigerant safely? Refrigerant must be handled carefully because it can be harmful if released or touched directly. I wear proper safety equipment, avoid breathing refrigerant vapors, and use the correct tools for charging, recovery, or pressure testing. I also follow environmental and company procedures because refrigerant should not be released into the air. Before adding refrigerant, I check whether there is a leak or another problem. Safe refrigerant handling protects the technician, the customer, and the environment. I always make sure the correct refrigerant type is used for the specific system. 24. What would you do if you cannot identify the problem immediately? If I cannot identify the problem immediately, I stay calm and continue with a systematic troubleshooting process. I would recheck the basics, such as power supply, thermostat, filter, airflow, refrigerant pressure, and electrical components. I would also review the symptoms and ask the customer more questions if needed. If the issue is complex, I would consult a senior technician or service manual instead of guessing. Guessing can waste time and damage equipment. I believe a good technician should be patient, honest, and committed to finding the correct cause. 25. Why should we hire you as an AC maintenance technician? You should hire me because I understand the importance of reliable AC maintenance, safety, and customer satisfaction. I am comfortable with routine inspection, cleaning, troubleshooting, and preventative maintenance tasks. I do not rush the work or guess the problem. I follow a step-by-step method to identify issues and complete the job properly. I am also willing to learn, follow company procedures, and improve my technical skills. I believe I can be a dependable technician who helps reduce breakdowns, keeps customers comfortable, and represents the company professionally. Preparing for an AC maintenance interview is all about showing that you are practical, careful, and safety-focused. Employers want technicians who can maintain systems properly, diagnose common problems, communicate clearly, and prevent expensive breakdowns through regular service. Before your interview, review basic HVAC components, common AC faults, electrical safety, refrigerant handling, airflow issues, filter cleaning, coil maintenance, and customer service situations. Practice your answers in a clear and confident way. If you can show that you understand both the technical side and the customer service side of AC maintenance, you will stand out as a strong candidate.